I
Could
think
be.
they might have been some people paid.
Speaking of which,
yes.
we're the official. Watch it.
Yes. Yes. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
When our T-shirts get on Pro Wrestling Tees, and we did get that approved today. All we got to do is put some shirts on there. So, folks, look forward to it. Sometime by the end of the week, we will have Pro Wrestling Tees. We'll be selling our T-shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, and we'll let you know that on the Facebook page when it happens. All right, World Championship Wrestling. That's what we're going to talk about right now. July 13th, 1985. Rodney, go ahead and take it away.
2 weeks in a row. What can I say? Anyway, we start off the show. We're showing a cage match from the Great American Bash between Dusty Rhodes and Tully Blanchard. We got about 10 seconds of that, and then we go to the World Championship Wrestling opening, and then we hit with Tony and David, where they announce we have new World Tag Team Champions. The Rock and Roll Express defeat the Russians for the NWA World Tag Team Championship, and we have a brand new NWA World Television Champion. Dusty Rhodes defeats Tully Blanchard, and he also wins Baby Doll, her services, if you will, for 30 days, and it's awesome later on in the show. In an interview, we also see the first appearance of Terry Taylor as he comes on board, and he talks about the national champion, Blackboard, and hopefully he will be able to face Blackbart in future. I have a feeling that's going to happen. I don't know about you. First match on the card is Rocky King against the Nature Boy, Buddy Landel. And Buddy Landel, of course, managed by James J. Dillon. Jack, what did you think about this one?
It was a pretty good match. Buddy was showing, how good he is. I think I would have liked Rocky getting a little bit more, but it was an entertaining match, so I was good with it.
Brent, what did you think of Buddy Landel against Rocky King?
Yeah, Lindell was very good. Lindell was very good, and but as always, I'd like to see like Jack, Rocky King needed to get a little bit more.
Hey, Rocky was in awesome shape, was he not?
Yes.
He was just in tremendous shape. In the end, it's Buddy Landel winning with the spinning elbow into the figure four leg lock. And, of course, J.J. Dillon had to get in and try to help him break the hold. Once it's like a vice grip, it needs to help of trying to get it off. Then we have an interview with the new NWA World Television Champion, Dusty Rhodes. And, of course, it introduces that Baby Doll is now his valet for the next 30 days. Brent, what do you think about this one?
I enjoyed the interview. I thought the interview was really good. I thought that Dusty in good fashion was and I'll be honest with you, I thought Baby Doll was tremendous as well later on. So it was some good television.
Jack?
Yeah, I agree. Good stuff.
And then that's when Dusty introduces or talks about the Superstation. What was it? Superstation series. The Super Series on the Superstation, where he's going to defend the World Television title for 10 weeks. I wish we'd have been able to see that. I thought it would have been awesome to see 10 different ones. And then we come back with another interview with Tully Blanchard, and he talks about Dusty and Baby Doll. He also mentions Terry Taylor and Magnum TA, the U.S. heavyweight champion. Brent, Tully, always class act.
Oh, the interviews that he does are just tremendous. I truly think that Tully Blanchard is the best of this whole group right now. I mean, he is so good. But I was going to say something. I was going to say something. Now I forgot what I. This is just not my day. I don't think. I've been better off just letting Jack and Rodney do the show.
Short time, and because of vacation time, obviously coming up.
Maybe so. Maybe that's what the problem
is. So, what were you going to say? Do you remember?
I don't know. Maybe it'll come back to me in 3 years. I remember what it is.
Really, really shining on this. He's turning out to be a star, and he wasn't over the top in his interview. There was no hollering, no screaming. He was just matter of fact talking about what happened with he and Dusty and telling the story. And all eyes was on Tully. I'll just tell you. I just think all eyes, and he was credible in his delivery of that interview. Match number 2 has the Sawyers, Bruz and Brett against Randy Barber and George South. And Brent, what did you think about this one?
I want to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to get in there with Buzz and Brett, especially Buzz. Buzz was killing them poor old dude. And
yeah.
I mean, but truly great match though. I enjoyed the match. I thought the match was tremendous. But boy, Buzz was the real deal. There ain't no doubt.
Yeah, and you don't realize how big he is. Buzz is big. He might not be tall wise, but he is thick and he really lays it in. Of course, during the match, they talk about the Andersons and also the Midnight Express. Match number 4 brings out the Midnight Express to face Terry Flynn and Jason Walker. Jack, what did you think about this one?
I thought it was a well-paced match. Highlighted all those great spots, top rope stuff that Bobby does, and it's just a great Midnight Express match.
Brent?
Usually I like the Midnight Express, but there was something about this match that I just didn't like. And they did a lot of things, and they did new things, and they tried new things. And I think some of the stuff was a little dangerous that they was trying with the guys, especially that finish. They about dropped that poor guy right on his head, and I don't know. I can't remember which one. Was it Terry Flynn?
Terry Flynn, yeah. Connery did the second rope power slam that they've done, many times. But he ended up on his head, I think. And I think David or Tony said about
that match. But I usually love the Midnight Express, but this, for some reason, that was something off about this one. I don't know.
I will tell you, what it came over to me is they were not taking things seriously. I think that's what was a turn off on me on that one. Next is the interview with Magnum TA, the United States champion. He talks Rock and Roll Express, Dusty. He talks about he and Dusty becoming now America's team. I wonder where Dusty got that, Brent. You know?
I don't know. I think he was watching the commercials, and he came up with the Americans team since that was the Atlanta Braves. But you would think they would have been some problem with TBS saying you can't use that. You can't be caught telling yourself the minute. But they evidently didn't, because they called them that for months. So.
Yeah, for months. What did you think, Jack?
Oh, it's great. It's great. I love the America's team name. It really applied for them.
And then it was Arn Anderson coming out there getting in Magnum's face. I love that. He tells him, hey, and in typical Anderson form, watch out for the Andersons. I love that. He said, not to be by yourself. Don't be by yourself, Magnum. I loved it. Okay, then
wasn't Magnum TA by himself at that point, or I guess Dusty was there with him?
No, he was there. He was just there by himself. He was just warning him. I think that it's nice to give people warnings when you're eventually going to beat them up. It gives you the chance, to say, don't show up. And if you do, it's your fault you get beat up. Okay, then match number 5, which was a complete surprise to me, was Dick Slater against Gerald Finley. Jack, what did you think about this one?
It was a good fast-paced match. He gave Gerald just enough, to keep the match paced very, very well. As we've seen in the past, Gerald if you give him too much, he kind of loses his train of thought, I guess you would say. So he gave him just enough comeback that he could take right back over, and it was I thought it was a really good match.
Brent?
Yeah, I liked it, but I like Dick Slater. To me, Dick Slater was so smooth in the ring. Everything he did looked good. So this just made Dick Slater get over even better. And I think maybe soon Dick Slater's gone. So I think maybe, because I know he goes books Mid-South Wrestling at some point. So
yeah, later in the year it is. In the end, it's a suplex followed by the abdominal stretch, falling back into a pin. Dick Slater over Gerald Finley. Then we have another interview with Dusty, and he brings out Baby Doll, and it's good TV. It is good TV. Jack, what do you think about this?
Oh, that was very entertaining. I like the way she told him off, and then she starts to leave, and Magnum drags her back, and then she runs her mouth, and he has Magnum to drag her off. That was, it was like you say, that was really good TV.
Baby Doll was really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
She was tremendous. You know, and then what's so sad about it, she was so good. And then by 1986, the end of 1986, she disappears. It just made no sense to me. She was too good to make her do. I think she could have been a huge, huge star, even in WWE, WWF.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And then every show has to have its part where people go to the restroom or get something out of the refrigerator, and here's one of them. They call him the notorious Kevin Sullivan, and he lives up to every single bit of that. Brent?
I've been strapped to the tree of woe. Is that the only interview that Kevin Sullivan knew, Jack?
Pretty much, because we heard it everywhere.
I was always hoping the tree of woe would fall on him. Try to get up after that, Kevin. Ends up talking about Dick Slater. It was 2-minute interview, and as far as I'm concerned, it was 2 minutes too long.
I want to know what he said because I didn't understand any of it.
Well, he's the 13 to the 13, and
Hey, look, let me ask you,
and I don't know what he was saying.
did the Ultimate Warrior listen to Kevin Sullivan? Is that where he got his interview skills from?
Could very well be.
Because I never understood what the Ultimate Warrior said as well.
They came from apparently the same interview school. All right, so now match number 6, the national champion Black Bart against Gene Ligon, and Terry Taylor was at the desk. Britt, what did you think about this one?
I don't know. I forward to that.
Oh, did you? Well, in the end, I guess. In the end, I want you to know that Black Bart wins. Jack, was that a surprise to you?
I just want to say that this match was so much better than Terry Taylor's commentary.
True.
I honestly wanted to go out there and just hit him and say, come on, get excited about what you're doing out here. And it didn't get any better when they confronted each other at the desk either.
Yeah, Black
You
Bart.
know, he takes the swing, he takes the coat off like Bart should just, and he does, of course, but he just stands there, he's fuming. But Terry's just like, well, here, let me take my coat off. Oh, let me get this tie. Let me get this tie. You know, I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. I forced that up. I couldn't take another Black Bart match. I'm sorry.
Match number 7. Brett, did you watch this one? It's Jimmy Valiant against the Barbarian with number 1, Paul Jones. Did you check this one out?
Yes, I did. I did see that. There's no doubt I saw it. I thought it was tremendous. Jimmy Valiant's always good. I enjoy watching him and the Barbarian, and I thought it was good. And I loved when Paul Jones came in and he got a hold of him. I thought it was tremendous stuff.
Yep.
It shows these are seasoned professionals. Exactly what this showed. Jack, what did you think?
Oh, I loved it. Jimmy Valiant is one of the greatest I've ever seen as far as, engaging that crowd from the time he comes out till the time he leaves the arena. If you're not getting into a Jimmy Valiant match, you got to be dead sitting in your seat.
Yeah.
Because, man, he is fire.
In the end, it's Jimmy Valiant hitting the sleeper hold, I believe it was, and then Paul Jones coming in. And then in the end, it's Barbarian and Paul Jones doubling up. Barbarian throws Jimmy Valiant over the top rope, hangs him by that collar with Paul Jones on the outside of the ring, just pounding him. And then people come out, and then they disperse. Then it's the interview with Paul Jones and the Barbarian. Jones talked about the dog collar matches. They go back and re-show where the little boy, the boogie boy, gives him the package with the dog collar on. And now he's talking about matches where he's going to have 5 minutes, 5 minutes all alone with Paul Jones, and then the dog collar matches. And he said, I only signed for one. I thought I only signed for one, but I'm having a bunch of these dog collar matches. Jones.
All over the world.
Yes, all over the world.
I love that. When the kid came out and gave him that that gift. That was tremendous the way it was done. Now, Paul Jones was a little slow getting to the opening the gift. The announcer, what was the announcer? Was it Bob Cottle?
Bob Cottle.
Bob Cottle kind of had to help him get into it, but to me it was tremendous. Just the way it was done, the music starting, the whole thing. I loved it.
Yep.
Match number 8 has Terry Taylor against Mike Nichols, and Taylor normally was using the flying forearm, but not in this one. I guess there was too many of them. Manny Fernandez had dibs on that. I guess, I don't know. But in the end, it's Terry Taylor winning the match with a sleeper hold over Mike Nichols, and that was a surprise, being Terry Taylor's first appearance on the program. In another interview is Jimmy Valiant. Of course, he knocks the microphone out of Tony's hand. I mean, he was on fire. Jack, what do you think about this?
Oh, I love it. I love his interviews. You just gotta believe he's so fired up. Always so fired up.
Yeah.
Brent?
Yeah, Jimmy Valiant, just his interviews. He knew how to sell himself. He knew how to sell the matches that he had coming up, and Jimmy Valiant was a true professional.
Next, we have another interview with the new World Tag Team Champions, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, Rock and Roll Express. Brent?
I'll tell you what I loved about this interview. I gotta tell you what I enjoyed about it. Robert Gibson says during his interview, he says, well, I'm going to defend these things. And then Tony Schiavone has to say, yeah, we're going to defend those things. And he goes over to Ricky Morton, and Ricky Morton started that was hilarious. I enjoyed that. I don't know if Tony was just making fun of Robert. I'm not for sure.
Yes, he was making fun of him. Yes, he was making fun of him. I would have too.
That was great. That was. I'm going to remember that, and well, probably me. I say remember before I die, but I may forget it next week. So,
all right. Match number 9 has Adrian Bivens against Arn Anderson. Jack.
Arn.
Oh, excuse me. Arn.
Almost.
I messed up.
Arn almost lost, but then the match started, and. And then Adrian poor guy didn't stand a chance. It's a good match, though. I mean, it built Arn, whatever his name is.
Yes.
Yeah, that Anderson kid that never really went anywhere. He did good.
Brent?
Yeah, Arn's always good. Arn never has been really given the credit he deserves. No. He got stuck into that 4 horseman thing, and that's all he was at. Always the underneath of Ric Flair, and Arn was so good that he should have never been thought of as. He should have
been featured just like Tully. Tully got lost in the same thing because Tully they were individuals, really.
Maybe at some point we need to do a what if show. What if there was no Ric Flair? He would have been world champion during that time period.
Yeah,
write that down because we'll forget it.
Let me write that.
In the end, it was Arn Anderson doing the Anderson slam on the arm, going into the arm bar, and it's Arn Anderson as the winner. And that was, of course, interview with Arn Anderson. Then we have match number 10, the Rock and Roll Express, and their initial appearance on World Championship Wrestling against Larry Clark and Chuck Levins. Jimmy Cornette's at the desk. Brent?
What in the world was he doing the interview acting like he didn't even know the Rock and Roll Express was?
Maybe they told him to do it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, they're ignoring Mid-South. Just, I think Mid-South did the same. So now, but you got to remember, watch this. The greatest line of the entire show was when Jim Cornette said, "Shut up, David."
Yeah, that was. I remember. I've always said some things they should not show in slow mo, and that double drop kick was one.
Oh yeah.
It was not good. Not good at all. But Rock and Roll Express winning with a double drop kick in their debut on World Championship Wrestling. They end the program with Tully Blanchard talking about Baby Doll and the treatment that Dusty, and he said he would have to. He called Dusty manure. in that. I wonder what he meant by that.
He did. He did that one.
Sure.
Tully was so good during this.
He was. He really was.
Pretty good show. It was a pretty good show. I frontwards up just once. You know, when you only just hit that frontwards button once. Well, you don't really hit a frontwards button when you're watching on YouTube, though. You just kind of slide it until it's over. And so that's what I do. Good show. And I guess next week, I'm not for sure. Rodney, do you know if July 20th, I guess it's July 20th, is it available on YouTube?
Well, if we can begin talking to our insiders, and I will check that out while you are beginning to get their expert opinions on the fantastic extravaganza.
Make sure you check with us, because we are going to be talking about World Championship Wrestling again. A lot of things start happening on World Championship Wrestling on TBS, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. Okay.